Okay, welcome Ram. Let's wait for Simran. Okay, till we can actually have Simran on board. Okay, we have Simran on board. Accept the request. Great. So we have Simran over here. And Simran, my voice is echoing. Can you organize something? Are you on the speaker or something?
No, I am actually wearing those headphones.
Okay, interesting device. Varsha, are you hearing my voice in echo?
It's okay, I feel like.
Because interestingly, I'm going to hear my own voice again. Okay, so all who have joined at this stage, and I think I should lower the volume because I'll be hearing more of my voice than anybody else. And that's quite irritating. Okay. So today, this event is for mental health. We are celebrating World Mental Health Day, which was defined by WHO. So, and for years, this day is celebrated to create awareness about mental health issues. Simran is a student and a highly aspirant person who wants to do a lot of things in life. But today she'll be asking us questions which would help her to address her issues, and maybe it might be something which help your people too in terms of what you would want to be addressed before going to a therapist or a psychiatrist or any mental health professional. So the basic questions which needs to be addressed, and maybe we can reduce the taboo in that way. So welcome Simran, and let's have questions from your end.
Thank you. So actually, my first question is related to the last question that has been asked by Varsha ma'am only. So it's actually like that each one of a person feels anxious about certain things. What should be done to manage anxiety while one is in front of public to give some sort of speech or performance? What should be done regarding
Varsha,
that?
this should have actually been even addressed by you. Okay. If you specifically ask that, let's have it in form of pointers. There needs to be a mock which needs to be done, because you're basically talking of anxiety, which is specifically in terms of some sort of presentations in public. So you should create a mock for yourself. Whatever you have to present, prepare that. Do a mock. If it is timed, time yourself. It's like as if you were preparing for exams. So read it, do it in front of a mirror or something. If you can get friends or somebody, it might not be also a bad idea. Friends can give you feedback. Even if you are doing it in front of a mirror, it might not be a bad idea to have it recorded. So this recording can be you can actually revisit it and see if you can phrase that thing better. So every time you practice that, comparatively will take care of the anxiety which is caused because of that. Right?
Yeah.
Varsha, if there is a pointer, please add.
So yeah, the next question is that how to identify what's right to change for ourselves? Is it just what we feel right is actually right for ourselves? That what should be the symptom that is actually right for ourselves? That That is it just a feeling that what we feel is right, or do we need to that something else is that something else is right for ourselves that we don't regard in that way?
See, basically, understand one thing: you are of the age and stage of life where you have your own aspirations and desires. It shouldn't purely harm the other. That's good enough. There's no one track of life. So there is no one right or wrong until unless you are basically not breaking the law per se. So there's no one way of how life should be lived. You should not be impinging on anybody's space and rights. Rest, everybody has their own path and their own aspirations and desires which this life is meant to achieve. So there's no right and wrong per se. As far as mental illness, if you want to talk about, we say that any illness to be an illness, it should impact your life. It should impact your personal life, professional life, academic life, or social life. At least two areas should be impacted. So if it is not impacting your life, you are not falling into a category of any sort of illness. Yes, there might be certain areas that you might not be aware of. So, yes, you should be always be ready to get feedbacks. But then you should always have also a self-evaluation process. If the feedback is worth it, or the person is just bullying you, and or just trying to get his own means done through you. Alia, are you saying me that my voice is echoing? Simran, I think you have to put your phone on mute when I'm talking, because I think it's echoing from your end.
I'll just take it out.
But as of now, please ask your another question, and then you can mute it.
Okay. That other question is that how to get detached from the thoughts that we actually don't want to think about, but still they are compelling in our minds. They're just echoing in our minds. How to do that? How to manage that things? That if we are not ready to think about them, but still they are coming up. How to manage that?
Okay, can you mute it? So, Simran, please mute me. I think it is echoing.
Just 1 second. Not getting the
Yes.
option.
So basic. Okay, I can still hear my echo. Alia,
Not getting the option of mute.
is this good? No, I can still hear me. Okay. Coming to your question, thoughts which keep running in your head. One could be OCD, which Varsha is talking of. But when we are talking of OCD, be aware of the fact that thoughts cannot be kept at side even when you're doing other things. Those thoughts are so intruding that you cannot go beyond that. Am I back? Yes, I'm back. So basically, one has to differentiate between the fact if these thoughts are so intense that you are basically getting blocked completely, then it is a mental illness, which is called OCPD. It is more about obsessive thoughts, which you're talking of. But I don't think what you're talking of is OCD, which you're talking of. You're not talking of that. You're just talking of various different thoughts that keep coming into your head. We are all brought up in a way where we are told a lot of things, what is supposed to be right and wrong. And society defines it for us that this is how we need to go ahead. When our aspirations become different from what the society that we are living in might define. And in your case, I can surely talk about generation difference, because you have been surrounded by a lot of parents and elderly people. And we all, including I, might sometimes sound almost telling you what is right and wrong. But are we there to fulfill the dreams of the other? Maybe not. We have to basically find our own path. Hear to the sounds. What are they actually asking you? What are they actually expecting? What are you expecting out of life? Maybe that's where that's where Simran is supposed to reach. You are basically not meant to fulfill my dreams, your mother's dreams, your father's dreams, your brother's dreams, your auntie's dreams, anybody. You're supposed to be basically fulfilling your own dreams. Yes, I'll also add the fact that sometimes we do get desirous of things which might lead to some sort of trouble. So you should be aware what is legally allowed and not allowed. But I think somewhere down the line, you should also hear to your own desires and fantasies. And if you can fulfill them within this boundary which is created by the legal system, it's almost the life is about negotiating this. How can we fulfill our dreams, our own fantasies, our own wishes, without destroying the other social system or the structure which is legally defined. I would still define it as more legally and humanistically defined. I would not say moralistically defined, because moralistic defines a lot of limits, which everybody might have different to it. Rape happened, the Hathras case, and the MP came up with an idea that लड़कियां अपने दायरे में नहीं रहती हैं, इसलिए हो रही. Is this a moral value that I'll like to adhere to? No. Sorry, not at my age also, I'll not adhere to that. So I wouldn't say moralistically. So, but we have to take care of the other person humanistically and legally. Rest, you have all the space to explore with what you want to do in your life.
So the next question that is that mostly that we hear about all the motivations that what we have to achieve in our lives, that the goals that we have to accomplish, that it's really been actually related to our intentions. That does intention really has a power that there are many people who are striving hard and struggling to accomplish their goals, but not all of them achieve that. But what's the difference? What could be the difference? It could be the difference about the stressing levels, or what the thoughts that they have in their heads.
If I today dream that I want to be a millionaire, I need to be a little practical about it. See, if you're talking of goals, there's a concept of SMART goals. And the SMART goals talks about S is for specific. If you want to learn cycling, exactly that should be the goal. I should learn cycling. M is measurable. So I should be able to balance myself and cycle from here to maybe around within the campus, which might be approximately less than 1 kilometer. So SM, A is achievable. Am I physically healthy enough to cycle that much? I think I am. So R, is this realistic? Are these actually dreams which are realistically possible? Can I afford a cycle? Do I have space to cycle that much? Do I have enough intellect to understand what cycling is? So it is obviously this is a realistic goal. So is it realistically possible? And T is for time bound. So I have to achieve this much if I have to drive, if I have to learn cycling from not knowing at all to learning cycling within campus. Maybe it might maximum take a month. So that is a goal which I have to achieve. So the goal should be smart enough. Are that smart for me? No, because I know cycling. So my goal should be something beyond. So whatever goals you define, you have to actually make them smart. You have to see what your caliber is and make accordingly your goals. If tomorrow I say I want to basically within a month I want to open up an organization which is approximately 1 crore, do I have 1 crore? Can I take a loan of 1 crore? So, you have to make smart decisions. Yes, your motivation is important. But the goal shouldn't be not achievable or not so very simple. Like if I've given up cycling nowadays, if I make a basic concept, I have to just cycle for 1 kilometer. I can do it any day. My legs would be paining because no more in that habit. But 1 kilometer is nothing. So it shouldn't be under my potential. It should not be extremely above my potential that I don't achieve. There is a concept of optimum stress. So all your goals should be within the phase of where your stress is optimal. So it should not be too simple that I'm not motivated enough to do it. It shouldn't be too difficult. Like if today I decide that I should all of a sudden become a software coder, where I know nothing about it. How would I achieve it? There would be no motivation. There would be no desire. Right? Comparatively, on the other side, when my mentor had asked me to design his website, I had done website designing long back. Softwares had changed. But I still gave him at least a basic website ready when he told me to do it. That was stretching myself. Because for years I was no more into web design. But I still could because it was achievable for me. So yes, your motivation comes also from, if the thing is possible. So motivation, yes, you should put a lot of energy into it, but also keep checking if your goals are smart or not. So that's important.
Okay, so the next question is that it's actually related to this one only. That people who have undergone into loading stresses and converted that into their strengths, are they really meant to have that good cognition than the ones who haven't undergone that pressures and all that stresses? But even after facing all those stresses, they have actually achieved something, and they have that good cognition than the ones who haven't.
See, I think what you're talking of cognition again over here, you're talking of how smart is the goal, right? I am actually, I don't know, interestingly, I'm reminded of this movie of which one was that on the wrestlers of Haryana?
At
Dangal.
Dangal.
Yeah. So Dangal was a movie where the thought was of the father, and they had pushed beyond what their capacities were, and it did help. Yes, the movie is too hunky dory. The real life might not be that hunky dory. But yes, somewhere being focused, like the whole concept of Mahabharata, where it said that Arjun's eyes was on the eye of the bird. So being focused does help. Focused collects all your energy towards what you want to do. But we should remember that the goals have to be smart, and you can push it beyond a certain level, because where we are talking of the stress, it can be slightly beyond what your capacities are. But it shouldn't be so much that you don't feel motivated at all. Like simple, if a fourth class student is given a something which is about of a seventh class, indeed sixth class also, maybe the child would not be motivated enough to look at it also, right? To some extent, yes. Like all of a sudden, if I have no motivation to learn a new language today, maybe if I'm forced to learn that, maybe I might not be interested. So it has to be smart. It can be slightly beyond. It basically, the beyond should be that you can extend, you can stretch yourself that much. I think in Dangal also the possibility of that happened because the father was having that capacity to put in. He trained the kids. He basically organized food which was necessary for that sort of activity, that sort of game that was needed. He knew the trick of the trade. So stretching needs to even be practically possible. So yes, a little bit of motivation does help. Extra motivation, extra focus does help. But then again, we have to still see that it has to be smart. It cannot be completely unachievable.
So
Yes,
this is the
Simran.
last question is that the person who has that greatest of the patience level could actually maintain all those stresses at certain point of time, that even our patience level, that we could adhere to our stresses in that way. How could it help it? Patience is actually relatable to the stresses.
What you're calling as patience is something close to containability, which I'm talking of. But I seriously didn't get your complete question. How are you comparing? What are you comparing with patience?
That uh, that stability of our minds is actually relatable to the patients, or is it something else? That even if we are stressing, that if we have the stress, but still we are somehow, making our minds out of it, that we don't have to get into it. That how could it help it out? That patient.
We want to get into something, but we are not getting into it. That will cause distress because that is your dream, fantasies, desire. Uh, and interestingly, this was the last noise which I wanted in my sessions. Somebody drilling something in my neighborhood. Uh, so, patience purely might not be the solution. Uh, if I have a dream, if I have a desire, should I go for it or be waiting for the right time or not? Can a lot be defined by the time and the situation that you are in. Like today, if I would be having a desire that, I would want to meet 100 people today, I might need to control my desires, and patience would be a good idea because, it's COVID time. But everything might not be really about patience. It might be also about the idea if I can achieve that goal in a different way. Can I, what am I, sometimes our goals are not clear in our own head. I remember a friend of ours, and Varsha might relate to it. There was a friend of ours who wanted to do big in film industry. And every time I would talk to him, I started realizing that, and which I told him later on, that, I feel that what you're looking for is one acceptance of your own physical appearance, and one is about higher achievability, a higher likability by all, as if, you will be liked and be famous in a very short time. So sometimes we are too confused with our goals because we are not even clear why we want something. Like very simple, girls sometimes just want freedom, and freedom for what they don't want. So there needs to be a more clarity of goal. So this confusion which is coming up, I think in your head is a lot to do with the lack of clarity which is there. And I can completely realize that it might be even an age specific, because this is an age where we are trying to define ourselves, make something of ourselves, make our own identity, make our own space into this world, which seems to be more confusing than clear. Simran, over here, I'll just like to give you one simple tip. Everything comes with a cost to it. So if you want to achieve anything, remember you'll have to lose something. So we need to realize that nothing would be without a cost. Even happiness comes with a cost. And when we are ready to give that cost, we can achieve life. And life is never perfect. We try to achieve one, we lose on the opposite. So the balance is very difficult. We want the best of everything for ourselves, which is not possible. Because there would be a cost that will go. So I think this is something which at your age and stage, I know it is easier said by me because I've experienced much more experience with life than much more. And even I have accepted this with a hard heart. It has to be heavy heart. It has to be its own sadness. It has to be a sense of loss to it. But there's no easy way out. All the quotes that you'll read, all the directions that you'll read, they are not black and white. Because it is said in that way, you know, बहुत ज़्यादा ध्यान लगाओगी तो बहुत कुछ achieve कर लोगी. There's still a cap to it. And when you achieve one, you lose the other. I'm reminded of this very simple example. Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi is, I think we all respect him and we all admire him. I had once read about, and I think now it's a known truth by many people, about his, he had written it in his biography how he basically, one, he left his wife, and wife in terms of her pleasures and her needs. After he lost his father. Indeed, Mahatma Buddha left his wife to achieve what nirvana he was looking for. So, you know, no person can have a perfect life. There's cost to everything. There's a loss to everything. That's it that I would end it with. Right. Simran, we can't hear you. Yeah. So we'll close it here for today for you.
Yeah.
And thanks a ton for giving your time.
Thanks to you.
You're most welcome. And thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you.